Hello, Five folks, and welcome to Booghy Plays. Today I won't play. I'll play with questions, and my guest today is a designer, which, well, I think I have my first. I knew about him when I first put my eyes on a very of an older game, which is Dex de Grazie Polonia, something like this. And yeah, he then I immediately looked at him, and then he entered into my top 10 designers because he makes some interesting stuff. His latest game is Frostpunk, and I know he's working on some other stuff. So I'm welcoming today Mr. All the way from Poland, Mr. Adam Kwapinski. Welcome, Adam, to Booghy Plays.
Hello Bogdan, hello everybody.
How are you feeling? Are you okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
Working?
Not now, but yes. I was designing something before our interview, so yeah.
Are you a full-time designer now?
Yes, from I think it's about 6 years now, seven, close to 7 years, and yeah, I'm freelancing designer, and this is my only job.
Your only job. Oh, so keep working. So, well, first of all, I hope you feel good. I hope you'll feel good here in my virtual gaming room, on my virtual gaming chairs, comfortable. We're going to go through a bit through your life as a as a person and as a designer, and then I'm going to have a rapid fire round where I'm going to shoot some questions at you. But
Okay.
until then, let's start with the beginnings. Where were you born and where did you grow up?
Okay, so this one will be kind of boring because I was born in Lublin and
In
I'm
Poland.
still here. I'm still
Oh,
here, yeah, in Poland. I never changed place where I live, so I think I really like my town and
Lublin. Um,
yeah.
that's in, where is it exactly in Poland, Lublin?
So it's close to the east border of Poland, so
Eastern border
quite close to
to
Ukraine.
Ukraine. Oh, I see.
Yeah. So last year was really weird, and couple of months was not about games and designing anything. Just
Nothing.
I just try to help as a volunteer on a train station and do what we have to do in situation like this.
Situations like this, yeah. How was your childhood in Lublin, Poland?
I think quite nice. I have one older sister, and I live here quite. I think normally the games in every kind of game was in my life.
Did you
For forever, I think, because I was playing role-playing games, I was playing board games, I love football, so
you played football a lot as a child?
yeah, as a young person, yeah, I even play couple of years in one club in Lublin, but it was before my, I think, 15
Before you
birthday.
turned
So yeah,
15,
yeah,
yeah. Uh,
exactly.
so when were you born? In the 80s or in the 90s?
Eight is in the half.
Half the half
85 is my
is so
year of born. Yeah.
in Solidarność started late 80s, no? In
Yes.
so Poland is, if yeah, a bit of history, Poland is where the fall of the communism started. It was the main piece which helped all the Eastern Bloc somehow disappear. The Eastern Communist
Yeah.
bloc disappear, because after Poland, then all other countries which were behind the Iron Curtain started to have revolutions one way or the other. Did you feel anything about that? I'm also a child of the 80s, and in Romania was of the 90s, but I was born also in the beginning of the 80s. So was it? Did you? Were any? How should I put it? Any communism leftovers while you were growing up?
Oh, I think we all can see leftovers until today, but the real, I don't remember the time when the communism fall because I was like 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
I don't feel what really happened there. I wasn't old enough to understand that, but after after that. I'm also a historian, so
Historian, okay.
I know some stuff about that, but mostly from people's
From the
stories,
books.
from
Okay.
books,
Yeah.
not from my own experience.
Experience.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
gladly, I wasn't raised in
Under
the
the
communism.
communist,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it wasn't fun, really.
When you were a child, as you said, you've played a lot. Games were a part of Poland while you were growing up. Were board games a part of Poland while were they are largely they or people had access to board games, or let's say classical games, not necessarily modern board games, classical games while you were a child.
Few of them was available in Poland because we have a game called Magia i Miecz, which was Talisman in our version. We have couple of war games, with hundreds of small cardboard tokens. You move on hex board. We have some games, some Polish version of Western games, like, for example, Star Trader was one of the game I remember, and I think when I start playing this, I was like 6 or 7, something like this, and this was one of the first games I even play. I think the second one after Talisman. And of course, there were also classical games. So I love card games, classical card
Card games,
games.
classical card games, yeah, with
Yeah,
the 52 pack
yeah,
of
exactly.
cards, with the classical 52,
Until
52, yeah.
today, I like to play bridge or poker, and yeah, that's fun.
I see. Were board games were board games also a part of the family, or you just played with you found board games, I know, in school or somewhere else? Did you play with your family?
No,
Did
I
you play
play
with your
with
parents?
my family, and it's this is how it still looks like because in my family, I think now all people play board games. Probably my father not so much, but he love classical card games, and some of the board games he also can play, but he don't like bigger ones with lots of rules. My mother play everything from Stone Age to through the ages, and I think in Stone Age she has like more than 3,000 game on board
Players.
game arena. Yeah, so this is how it
Yeah.
works. My sister plays board games. Her husband plays board games. My nephew plays board games. So
Yeah, it's in the
literally
family.
everybody. Yeah.
Plays it. It's in the family blood. So um, was this all across Poland? Do you think playing games with the family was a tradition in Poland? This.
No, not so much. Even even in my family, it was more like playing with children. Of course, my parents sometimes play with their friends,
Friends, yeah.
but it was mostly bridge, not our board games nowadays. Board games. But after that, when I mostly with my sister, we sink into role-playing games and also into board games. So we show that also to our parents, and they like it. So
What were your parents' professions?
oh, my mother was a teacher because now she's retired,
Retired. Yeah.
and my father do lots of different stuff. He has his own small shop with animals, mostly fish. So
I see.
he do that. He also have a bar once for a couple of years.
So he's an
He
entrepreneur
yeah,
in a way.
not exactly, but he can do a lot of stuff. He was electrician when we talk about his profession he learned,
Profession, yeah.
but he do really a lot of different
A
stuff
lot of
during
stuff,
his
yeah,
life.
yeah.
So
And so you say you played a lot of sports. You played that. What were your interests when you're a child
oh,
in school?
no, mostly any kind of games because really I play anything I can. So
I see, but I was talking about
mhm.
in school. What did you like? Do you like math? Did you like math or social studies or?
Truly both. I like science, and I think in the first part of my education, I was it was closer to math, physics, and all that kind of science. But after that, as I
As you
told
grew older?
already, I study history. I study culture science, so many different things. I think that only I wasn't big fan of biology and maybe chemistry, but I like learning until today, and yeah, I'm curious guy, so.
I see. So my my curiosity comes from. So where did you go to study history?
In Lublin, I stay in my city.
Ah, you sit there.
Yeah,
Is a university there?
we
Recently,
we
yeah.
have we have like now it's 5 or 6 universities. So this is nice because this is not very big city. It's like it's less than 500,000 of people. It depends how many students we have. But there are a lot of university here, and this makes this city a city of young people, really. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Of course,
this year
having
I
so many
think
students.
we are even European youth capital or something called like this. So yeah, Lublin is really nice city, and I study here all different
Yeah,
subjects because it was, as I said, history, culture, science. After that, I go to physics. So, different stuff.
and when did you discover uh, modern board games?
Oh, this is, it depends what we
Modern
called
board
modern board game,
modern,
yeah.
I would call them from practically the era of modern board gaming started with, in a way, with Catan and the new German games, which took the hobby to a more to yeah, it transformed it into a more popular one. Let's say
Yeah,
it it
but when we talk, about game design itself, it's not that strict line. But
yeah, of course,
I think
yeah,
when
yeah,
we
of
talk
course.
about modern board games in my life, it was just after a high school, like 2005, something like this, and. Uh, I think I remember three games that I
Yeah.
played then, and it was Agricola, it was Game of Thrones, the first edition, and Peach Car Mini. And I love all of
Peach
them.
car.
Yeah.
Peach car, yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Two. So you say Agricola, um,
Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and Peach car.
Yeah.
Three different types of games. One is a some dexterity one. One is a sort of a diplomacy redesigned, and one is a Euro game through
Yeah,
and
yeah,
through.
because the genre is for me not important when we talking about board games. I just if the game is good in what the game tried to do,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and if it's a good design, I will play it. So it's not important if it's very heavy or lighter one. There's a place for different types of games, and I can play most of them. So
Yeah. So those are your discovery, and what today, let's say, no, until today, you have probably evolved as a gamer. What do you enjoy the most from the start to from the during time? What kind of games did you play and enjoyed the most?
oh, there were many of games I really enjoyed. There are a couple of games was really important for me because I uh, I really love them after first play, and I played a lot, and that kind of game was for sure Galaxy Tracker. For sure through the ages. So well, Vlad Akhvatil is my
Vlad Akhvatil, yeah.
favorite designer. So uh, also Fist for the Odin from Uwe Rosenberg.
Uh-huh.
It was a game that I played really a lot when I have a
That's a
chance to.
that's a newer title
Yeah, but
than Galaxy Tracker and Through the Ages.
yeah, as I said before, that different types of game. I also love playing Flick of Fate, and again, this is dexterity game mostly. Uh, so the genre is not a thing for me, and I think there is no the how we divide game between Euro and Ameri games. It's really
Uh, that
old
line seems,
definition.
yeah,
Nowadays,
yeah.
it doesn't work. Just
That, yeah, that line seems to be blurred more and more
yeah.
we as we go through. Yeah. So what kind of a player are you today? You enjoy everything. You enjoy Euro games. You also enjoy, I would say, more story-driven games.
You know
You enjoy
what?
everything.
Mm, Probably story-driven games are not not for me if we're talking about campaign games. This
Yeah.
is, but mostly because how long they are, and this is my only problem with them, because in some of them the story is really really great. Uh, I think that I don't play a lot of cooperative games because I'm competitive player. I have to be honest, and it's not like the game have alpha player problem. I'm the alpha player problem if
You're
I
the
play
alpha player.
cooperative games.
Uh,
Uh,
well, that's I don't know if it was, but I think it was all the way through Eastern Europe. We were bred in school to be competitive. You have to be more competitive than your colleagues. You have to be
oh,
first. Yeah.
Oh, you know, it's funny because in life it's not what I do. It's strictly for board games or sports. Because, for example, when I play role-playing games, classic one, tabletop role-playing games, I don't care. It's all about story there, and what story you can create together. But when I play a board game and there's a rules and a winner, and yeah, I will play
You want to
as
be the
good as
first.
I can to win. That's how it works for me, and I think this is honest way to play a game, because
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. So you discovered games. You played a lot of games. What made you make a switch? What opened what was the switch? I want to be a designer. I want to make my own games. What?
uh,
How did that transition come to you?
It was. I think I like to create things, and the first two board games I create as a child, with my one of them with my father, and the second one with my sister. Uh, and it was like I was 5 or 6 maybe. And it was fun. After that, I trying to design something for myself, and I remember that I tried to adapt one video game. It was called Desert Strike from Amiga 500. And it was about flying a chopper during the war, and yeah, and I translated that into a board game. It wasn't good, of course, but it has a lot of modern mechanism, I can say, because it used D12 dice. There were some hidden movements, so it
The
wasn't
best game,
old
but
type of the game. It wasn't working, but the fun I have creating it was great. So those was my first steps, I think.
and your first published design is something Polish, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because after that, as I said, I play a lot of role-playing games, and also my creation goes there. But uh, after I finish my history studies, I go back to designing board games just for myself. But after a couple of years, I met two friends who also like designing games, and we tested our games and try to make it better. And first game I designed with those two guys, it was Tomek and Kuba. We designed Tiyomashi. this was the first design, but it wasn't the first published design because between that time we tried to publish it by other publisher, but it was not a fun story because he goes bankrupt a week before the premiere of our game. I decide I want to try publish games by myself and with different colleague of mine, Michał and Oscar. We start our publishing house, small one. It was called Historical Games Factory, and the first game we published was w Zakładzie Lubelski Lipiec. So it was game about Lublin and Peral times. And yeah,
The
the first
starting
one.
that was your start
Yeah,
practically.
yeah. And
So
after that, the second was Teomashi I mentioned earlier.
yeah, and after that, Sigismundus
Yeah,
Augustus. That was the first. This was a game I think which was asked for. It was a commission that which you did for a certain governmental
no.
institution,
It
or
was a little more complicated because uh, that time I was a teacher in university.
yeah,
I was doing a PhD, and my mentor, my professor, said that okay, I have some students, and I think it will be better that they can try to make a board game than write some
some thesis.
papers because nobody
Uh-huh.
will read that
Read them.
ever.
Yeah.
And he just gave me a group of, I think, 15 people to learn them how to make board games.
Teach them how. Okay.
And one of the guy in that group was Michał Sieńko, co-designer of Sigismundus Augustus, and this was his work when he was ending history, when he was ending studying on university. Of course, after that, the game need a lot of change to be published because that's how it works. And I jump in as a co-designer, and we prepare it for a publishing. After that, there was one NGO who also decided to
Yeah.
jump into
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
project and help us. But it wasn't, designed for them.
Yeah. So I see. So practically publishing games in Polish was a big thing since then, since let's say 2000s, the beginning of the 2000s. As far as I know, Poland is one of the, let's say, the biggest board game country in the Eastern Europe, because you have publishing companies, also factories which
Yeah.
help. You can print there. So how did the industry, how do you feel, why do you think the industry developed so much in Poland?
Hmm, that's no, that's a good question, but I think we can go back to end of communism era, and when it happens, people see that they can do something, and I think mostly in Poland it was some fantasy clubs or science fiction clubs and conventions. People start to gather in those places and start to talk about different stuff. And this is how it begins at the 90s, at the beginning of the 90s.
The 90s.
Uh, and after a couple of years, I think from from this community, many people goes a little different ways. So there were people who play a lot of role-playing games. There were people who was interested in history reconstruction. Also from that group, we have some people who play board games, who played LARPs. Some people want to make video games, sometimes also connected with this community. So I think this is how it happens. And when some part of the hobby was big enough to stand on their own legs, it just goes
The
a
ball
little,
starts
yeah.
to roll.
Yeah, yeah,
The
exactly.
ball
So
starts
I
rolling.
think this is the source of a board game hobby
In
in
Poland,
Poland, and
because
most people who are in board game hobby and who started was connected with that community.
yeah, because PortalCon is a pretty big con there in Poland.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have, yeah, it's yeah, a lot of designers, good designers can come out of Poland. So it's, yeah, it's interesting to see how another Eastern European country can grow in this hobby a lot. And yeah, now let's go back to you, more to you,
Okay.
and let's talk a bit about design. And I wanted to ask you, what is your design philosophy?
Oh,
Do you have one?
yeah, but we don't have enough time. I two
Okay,
years
let's
ago,
make it
2 years
shorter.
ago, I write a book about that, and it has more than 200 pages, so it will be hard to.
I'm not asking you for the whole history, but let's go. Hello, Kosti, and welcome. Well, let's do it in a shorter way. Let's
Okay,
condense
so
it.
I.
What makes you design board games practically? What makes you create
Mhm.
what you create? What's behind everything?
It's always about if if some people are creative, it's not about abilities, it's about feeling that you want to create something that it's different than you. It's not part of you after the whole process. It's just a separate thing. And I create board games because of different reasons when we go into specific, because sometimes I want to give players very specific emotions. Sometimes I just found some clever mechanism. Sometimes I want to tell a story about something, or just as like with my first game w Zakładzie Lubelski Lipiec, it was a little thank you to our town, because this is the
Oh
place
yeah.
when I live. So different reasons with different board games, but I love when the designer know what he wants to do, because and why I'm doing this game. Do anybody need this game? Because sometimes for me, I don't try to make games for market. Even now, it's not. Sometimes, of course, some publisher came to me and asked for a specific type of game, and okay, I can do that. But mostly, I make games that I like. I like designing them, and this is the reason. I think the most notable example is Nemesis, because I start creating this game in I think 2012, 2013, something like
It,
this. And
uh,
truly, those time nobody will publish game like this, because it was huge. It was Kickstarter just shows up.
Yeah, in 2015, 2016, Kickstarter got big.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it was before that, and when I designed this game, I don't believe that it will ever goes out because it was just for
Physical
me. I
publishing.
have fun designing it. Some people
So
have
you
fun
so
when they tested the prototype, but that was all.
so you like making a game where people can screw each other over.
Sometimes, yeah, of course. But I know that nowadays, especially after Frostpunk, most people think that I create games when people die. And yeah, you can say something like this, but truly, again, it depends what kind of game I'm creating. Frostpunk and Nemesis, very different games, but both are with very strong survival feel. So yeah,
I see.
probably you will die in this game because this is what the genre is about.
Yeah. Um, I don't know very much about Frostpunk to be. I am a big fan of Euro games, and I haven't managed to play Origins yet. That's the game which I really, it's a city builder, and
Yeah.
I want to try that one. I have managed to play Terracotta Army,
No.
and I have thoughts on the channel on it. I won't go on my thoughts here. But so I do want to talk to you about, do you like creating on your own, or do you like creating with somebody else? For example, Nemesis, it's your own
Yes.
creation. Frostpunk, I think it's your own creation. A lot of your games are your own creation, but you have some collaborations here and there. What do you prefer more, and why? Of course.
It's not about preferences because first of all, uh, any game I create that was published is not only my own work because there always were lots of people who make this game in the end what it is. So really, hundreds of people who play the game, test the game, publishers, and all of their staff who help to develop the game and create the visuals, etc. So. Uh, I think when we talk about games that people can bought in a shop, it's
Yeah.
never a work of one person. If we talk about rules about that part, yeah, of course, I'm mostly responsible for that. And when we talk about creation, I think I love working alone, but I think it's impossible to do that constantly. So I also love to cooperate with different designers, different people, because this is a different point of view. Because you have somebody you can talk about the game and you can argue with about specific rules. This is important because this makes first of all the game better, and second of all it lets you learn to be a better designer. So yeah.
So, do you have talked a bit about developing, and do you are you your own developer, or do you like working with developers? There are two different hats. I always say that
Mhm.
the designer hat is one, the developer is one. Do you like putting the both hats, and do you know when to take one out, to take one off, and put the other one on? Or do you like to work with somebody else who does the developing part of the design process?
I think there are two kind of designers, or maybe two kind of designs. Sometimes is that designer create a prototype, give it to a publisher, and forget about it.
I
Uh,
see. Yeah, yeah.
and the second one is when you work with the publisher, you are in the development process, and I prefer the second version. I think it's much better for the game, for the designer, and for the players at the end. I don't leave my games, but I like to work with developers from the publisher side and to again make the game better. So this is mostly how I work. I keep working on a game until it's ready to print because
Yeah, but having a developer's hat, sometimes a developer must know when to cut things, because as a designer, you probably add. You add as a developer, you should know how to cut things to make the game as streamlined as it should be, and at the same time keep its core, what the design is and what the design should bring as
sure.
emotions and all of that. Do you find it easy to cut things out?
It's after so many years, it's not so hard, but and this is part of designer job also. It's not because it's all about understanding the game, understanding what it is, and again, it's sometimes you want to streamline the game as much as possible, but sometimes you put something into the game more complex, but you have to there have to be a reason for that. For example, player elimination. Yeah, something when we talk about uh, mistakes in design, in most cases this is not good for a game. In most cases this is not
Yeah,
good idea
yeah,
to add player elimination to the game, but when I create Nemesis, it was a very I was aware of that, and this was my decision because I know what will this add to the game, what kind of tension I will add putting the player elimination into
yes,
the game. So you have to understand your game, and you have to know the price of everything. Yeah, you can add some additional mechanism, and sometimes this is good idea, but yeah, in most cases, probably not. Yeah, keep the game as elegant as it should be is very important. And very important what you have said is to keep the core of the game. If you have one very nice mechanism in your game, don't add many others mechanisms around, because people will not see the interesting part. So
yeah, yeah. I understand what you're saying. Um, you like these, let's say, in Frostpunk, there's a different theme. Nemesis. These are very thematic
yeah.
games. How do you? Because we go back to the design philosophy. How do you approach mechanisms? You create first the mechanisms and then add a theme, uh, or do you start with a theme and then you see how you can transform a theme into mechanisms?
It depends. It depends what game I'm creating. For example, when you create an adaptation like a Frostpunk, that's obviously that the team is
King.
first, and yeah, I but team also influence mechanism. I believe that those two things should be connected together. Of course, if you don't create an abstract game, because they have no team, but even if we think about Agricola, Yeah. Do Agricola have a team? Yes, it have. Do this have any do mechanism in Agricola uh, tell us something about the team? Yeah, for example, we have animals and newborns. There we
who,
have
we
plants
go
which grows. That's
yeah,
this is a
yeah.
team.
Yeah, and people who and yeah, newborn who go straight to work
Yeah,
in the next
of course.
round.
There we always, as a game designers, we always use some shortcuts. That's
Yeah,
obvious. Some of them are better in term of theme. Some of them are worse. For example, in Stone Age, your people will eat stone, and it's not very thematic thing. But most of the game is kind of thematic still. So
yeah, yeah,
I believe that there is no good way to start from the team or from the mechanism. It's more about seeing your game as a whole and again try to understand what you want from your own design.
yeah. And when you think about expansions, do you design with this with the thought of I will make an expansion now, which I'll add later, or you just build a core game and then I'll see whatever expansions I'll add later, if it's the case to add expansions.
It depends if the game goes on crowdfunding or goes
To
in
retail.
normal, yeah, in retail distribution. It depends on that. But I prefer to create expansion after the game is published, after I have feedback from players. I think this is much better way to do this. Uh, so it's sometimes hard to make expansion on Kickstarter or GameFound because you have a core game and you try to anticipate what people would like in the game, what they will not like, and you try to go that way with an expansions, and it's harder than when you have a feedback from the players. So I prefer creating expansion after, and of course in different games there are different level of difficulty when you create an expansion. Sometimes you have more design space, sometimes much less. So it depends also on the game.
And do you enjoy the Kickstarter model? It helped you a lot with a game
Yeah.
like Nemesis. But which medium do you prefer, the classical retail or the Kickstarter model?
I think again it depends what kind of game goes there because I think I'm thankful for Kickstarter not only as a designer because yeah it was very my most well-known game was there and it was a great success for me and the Kickstarter and GameFound was a part of it but also as a player because without Kickstarter we don't see some of brave designs because
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
big games and Nemesis is a very good example. Uh, people publishers will not risk publishing Nemesis
Publishing
in
a game
that
like
shape,
Nemesis.
in
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
because it was risky game. Really, I remember remember until today that lots of publishers talk with me about that game and said, "Oh, you know, Adam, it's science fiction. It's a big game with a traitor. Who will play that? No, sorry, it's there's no market for that." And And
it
without
showed that it is.
Kickstarter,
Yeah,
we
there is
will
no
not
market.
know
No,
that there
no,
was a
exactly.
market.
Yeah, but why do I ask you this? Is because lately publishers have started using Kickstarter as or a
Mhm.
crowdfunding platform as a way to be certain that a game is successful. They take no more risks.
Yeah, but again, you can look at this from that point of view. Uh, but the other way is to not even risk putting more brave design, more risky game. I don't believe we ever see Gloomhaven, Seventh Continent, or stuff like this. If
Yeah, but these are bigger games, which probably Kickstarter or Game Fund, whatever crowdfunding is a good medium for them. But there are new other games which should appear in retail that now appear on Kickstarter, and they have 1 year long time to appear into the market, and yeah, which I for one I don't agree with. But that's just my
Yeah,
that's just my
I
opinion.
think it's again, it's not about way of distributing the games. It's all about being honest and fair to the player because and we know there are most of publishers I think are fair, but sometimes yeah, sometimes
It
it
happens, yeah.
didn't work out. But I think even if those publisher goes into a retail distribution, there will be also a problem because it's more about their attitude, not the platform they use.
Of course, of course. We're not talking about. We're talking about publishers, not about the mediums.
Yeah, but I think
Uh,
again, Kickstarter do a great work, and all the crowdfunding do a great work for our board game industry. And even if we compare to the video game industry, we are in much better place here. If we check how many games weren't delivered in video games and in the board games.
then the uh, well, yeah, it's a different market
Yeah,
in the end.
yeah.
It's a whole different market. Now let's go back to the questions. Uh, I have a I always say quite interested in this one. What is fun to you?
Oh, wide question. Uh, I think I have most fun from again my curiosity because I love to learn new thing. I love to meet new people and learn about the world or uh, maybe about how different we can see the world and how different we can show the world to the other people because this is what we are doing when we create something. This is our in the core there is our vision of the world we want to give to other people
Convey, yeah.
and I think this is the fun in the widest definition I can think of when thinking from what give me the fun and yeah of
And in games, when playing games, what is fun to you?
in games uh, I love finding elegance in game design, especially in games of different designer. I played lately Mindbug, and whoa, I'm so impressed how elegant this game is and how good is this game is. And I have a lot of fun playing it. Uh, Also, I think the games are all about choices. So if the game give me a real choice,
Yeah.
that have real consequences in the game, this is what it's about.
You could die.
Yeah, but this is
You could
how
die.
how it should work. Somebody once told me that the game should have amount of luck that if you lose, you can say that it was a bad luck, but if you win, you can congratulate yourself how clever you was. So, and this is not a bad advice, in my
Attitude.
opinion.
So, could you tell us how is a day in the life of Adam Kwapinski? How a day in the life of goes? What?
It depends. When I'm at home, because I travel a lot, I meet with different publishers, different designers. But when I sit home, I probably have some online meetings with publishers or with other designers.
Your sorry, your day starts in the morning, early in the morning, or
It depends, but
you
I like work at night. So when I'm because I have different phases, I can say, and when I'm in design phase and I work on, I don't know, 7 or 8 prototypes at the same time. Sometimes it's like working until 5 o'clock at the morning and then go to sleep for a couple of hours and come back to the project because I cannot sleep because I'm thinking about the game constantly. Yeah, this is. I think this is little obsessive when I'm into a design phase. But when it's calmer time, there are a couple of meetings. I try to also test some of my games or games of other designers. Uh,
how do you test? Do you test online? You put
Mostly nowadays in the first phase of design process, yes. Yes, because it's much faster, much easier. I can test with anybody in the world, and Tabletop Simulator is a really good tool to do that. Of course, after the first phase, when the game is mostly when I found a publisher for a game, we start testing also physical prototype because it have to be done. But yeah, I test all my games are online on TTS.
I see, I see. And how many before you publish a game? How many times roughly you play test a game?
It depends, and really it depends. Again, Nemesis I start 2012, 2013, and the first
So
boxes came to deliver to backers at end of
in 20,
2018, something like
yeah, yeah,
this.
yeah, something like
So
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
6 years, a long time. But I have games that I create on smoking one cigarette or in 2 weeks. So it depends, really. There's no rule about that, but I think couple of months, like close to 6 months. I think this is the most common time.
But in times that I don't know, 50 times, 100 times,
Oh,
200 times.
it depends, and I think you cannot count like this because in the first part of testing there is a test and there are a lot of changes, and again the test and
Of course, yeah.
changes. So
Of course, of course.
we are not really testing the same game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
It's
course. No, yeah, but yeah, from the You go to a certain number. You probably tested
It
sometimes.
really it depends. I have games that I tested 5 times before going to a publisher because there are also tests after that, and this is totally different. This is really a testing a game after you close all the rules and just try to test a content, not the core rules. So this is a different thing, but. Firstly, sometimes it's just a couple of plays because I create a game and okay, I place one second time, it works. So let's go further with it. I think
Yeah, but I believe the
it's
publisher also
easy
tests.
to see if the game is working. Really.
I see. But I don't. If you look like a game like Frostpunk, for example, I
Okay.
think that one needed to be play tested a lot.
Oh, yes, yes, and it was hard to also to create. So the first part of design process wasn't easy there because it is a big video game that we translate to a board game.
To a
So
board
there
game, yeah.
was a really lot of design problems with that. I think there were like three totally different versions of it, with some parts similar but really different before we find what we want. And when we find what we want, there was really a lot of tests, and it was before Kickstarter because. When we goes to the Kickstarter, we give people access to the tabletop simulator, and
Yeah, it needed to be a finished product in a way, so people can see how it plays.
yeah, exactly. Because what you don't want on crowdfunding is that somebody buy your game and think that it's a totally different game that it really is. So I
Yeah, yeah.
think we should show people the games and let them play on TTS, because people who will not like the game will just not buy it, but
Not like it.
you
Yeah.
will not have a disappointed audience because they
Expected something
yeah, they
else,
bought
practically.
Nemesis and they
Yeah, yeah.
think they will be shooting some creatures from space. No, you will be eaten by them. That's totally different kind of game. Uh,
Okay.
but
Can you
there
tell
was
us?
a like just let me finish the test part. There was like 500 of tests from the TTS users during the Kickstarter campaign itself.
I see. Only on Kickstarter
Only
Kickstarter campaigns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
only
So
that.
yeah.
And we
So
get a lot of info,
a
a
lot of
lot of
feedback.
numbers,
Yeah.
so it helps. It really helps.
That's, can you tell us what is your most played game? Do you know
Ha,
the game you played the most?
ha. I think I probably it will be still, if we count board game arena and online plays, it will still be Through the Ages, I
Through
think.
the Ages.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
hundreds of times. Uh, but I'm not sure because I also have to count games like Codenames or Jungle Speed, and yeah, I played them and
You played a
never
lot.
count
Yeah.
something like this because it was fast. So
What is your favorite game?
this is hard one. A couple of years ago, I will stick with the Through the Ages. Nowadays,
I
I
see.
think the game is, the design is a little old nowadays and have some problems. It's amazing game still, but not aged so well. So I think it's still in my top three games. Probably Fist of Odin will be also there, and Choosing the third one is hard, really. Lots of games that I can put there.
And what do you have a favorite designer? And if you have,
Yeah,
who
Vlada
it is?
Chvatil totally
Vlada Chvatil.
until
Yeah, yeah,
today because this guy is
he's
you
fantastic.
know,
Yeah,
he's crazy. The guy who can create through the ages and code names. Wow.
and Mage Knight
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and Bunny
Truly,
Moose
give me
Moose.
half of his brain and I'll be happy. So that,
Yeah, yeah. Also, in the end of this part, do you have anything to, sorry, to add? Do you something which I might not have asked you?
yeah, you know, it's your interview and your questions. So I will
Okay.
not be questioning myself. It will be weird, I think.
Okay. And let's go to the questionnaire,
Okay.
which it derives from Proust, and it was taken by certain personalities, and I have taken it from them. And I want the first question is, and you can also answer in Polish. What is your favorite word?
Okay, so in Polish it will be paradygmat, which is paradigm. I think
I
people
see.
people make laugh of me because I use it
You
sometimes I use it in normal sentence and it's you know it's a
let's
little
let's change
scientific
the
word.
paradigm.
So
Yeah, let's change the paradigm.
yeah,
Um, what is your least favorite word?
ha, interesting. That's the hard part of the interview. Okay. Mm, no, no idea, really. It's just
Also in Polish,
yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
say in
But
Polish. I know you never
I
thought, but
never
you
thought
must
about
have
it.
a
Okay,
word.
I hate the word in Polish is pieniążki, which means you know you it's about money, but in the it's like children talks. The version of children talks. It's like and it's
Pieniążki.
very weird when you talk with some very serious businessman and he told you he will send you a pieniążki and it's what's that.
I see. What is what? Sorry, what turns you on creatively, emotionally, or spiritually? What turns you on?
Huh. uh, it's it's a big again it depends on the context but mm, I think the curiosity I was talking about is always connected with that. I have to
I
be
see.
curious about something because and it can be really different things. It can be theory or it can be just you know other person, other point of view, idea. That doesn't matter. But when I find
I
something
see.
interesting, yeah, it works
I
on.
see. And what turns you off?
You know, mostly stupidity and lack of imagination. And I think also when I said lack of imagination, it's also about emotional imagination. Uh,
I see.
I think we should you know imagine how other people will feel when we do something and we just should uh, think what we are doing what we are saying also and yeah some
I
yeah
understand what you want trying to say. It's quite
you know
clear.
I think in nowadays in world we have lots of problems are because somebody
Yeah,
don't think about the consequences, about how something will works, and I'm talking about totally different stuff. But for example, I don't know some laws or how offices work, how our society works. I think people don't design it very well, and yeah, it turns me off because
that,
it's not
yeah,
far from what I'm doing when I'm designing a game. So yeah, people think about that because we are thinking about consequences in game much
consequences.
more
Yeah,
than you are thinking about real consequences and decisions.
in the world. Yeah, yeah. What is your favorite curse word?
Uh, I think it will be probably
Which
it will be in Polish. It's kurwa. So yeah, that's somebody check that it's most popular Polish word. Uh,
Kurdwa
uh, yeah, without D.
without
Yeah,
kurwa. Ah,
it's
okay.
like
I
it's
think
like English
it's also
fuck.
in
It's
Romanian.
like English fuck mostly.
Okay.
So.
What sound or noise do you love?
Wow, good, truly good music. I know it's not about specific sound or noise, but there is my favorite album from Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, and there are
Yeah, yeah.
lots of songs there that start with different noises. Uh, so yeah, I love this
I see.
album and.
I see. And what sound or noise do you hate?
Mm, I don't like, when uh, metal is close to other metal, and I don't know the word now, but
The screeching,
yeah, screeching. It in Polish
screeching.
it will be zgrzyt, I think. Yeah, the word itself sounds like.
Sounds, yeah. Which profession outside the one you already do would you like to attempt?
Oh, many of them, because I as I said, I'm a guy who is very curious. So I teach on the university, and it was fun. I was also amateur dancer, and it was great adventure. It was Irish dance, and I really still love it. What else? I think I can run a pub or a bar because why not? It's interesting.
So stepping a bit on your father's footsteps.
Oh, maybe a little, but mostly I I think I can find passion in myself if something is interesting. So it's
I
not
see.
so important what we are doing, but with what attitude and with of course and the people we are working with. That's what really matters.
And what profession you would not like to attempt?
Oh,
I'm I'm sorry, I'm going off to open a light. A little
yeah,
bit you answer,
yeah,
please.
sure.
It's
Give me
live.
give me a second.
So,
I think, and it will be maybe a little weird, but
live.
I think I don't want to be a totally professional sportsman, especially if the sport is very popular.
Footballer.
For example, yeah, because uh, hmm, it's if something like this is very popular, there of course are big money there, and I think it change it changed the game, and it stops being about playing football, for example, and it's totally about
Yeah.
something else. And also, it's really not healthy when we talk about professional sports, because what those people have to do to manage skills they have. Wow. Uh,
So you would not like to be a footballer?
yeah, for example, I love to play football. I cannot do this now because of my knee injury, but I love it. But I never want to be, very popular,
Professional.
famous footballer. No, no way.
And number 10, if heaven exists, what would you expect God to say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, and this is the part I say, oh fuck. No, truly, I think I will have something to say to him, because if this is what he designed, I really have some complaints about.
You have to go, and you're going to say, now I have to explain you some
Yeah,
things
yeah,
about
I have some
designing.
feedback about what you have done. Exactly. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you, Adam, for this interview.
thanks.
It was a lot of fun doing it. I hope you felt comfortable. I hope you felt good. Um, I will kindly ask you to not close the conversation. We talk a bit after I do the outro.
Sure.
So thank you again. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Bogdan, and everybody who watch it or will watch it after you publish it.
Afterwards,
Yeah,
yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. So I want to thank everybody who came and watched live. As always, who's just say hello. If you're around, we're very happy to, or I am very happy when people come by. You will see some things happening live, like me opening a light, because yeah, it got dark during our interview. But yeah, it happens. This is what happens with live things. Uh, so again, I want to thank everybody who came and watched live. I want to thank Adam again for or Adam again for coming for this interview. If you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe, because it keeps the internet alive and keeps us going. And again, thank you, and see you on the next one, whenever it will be possible. Until the next one, all I have to say is what it says in here. I talked a bit about the story of this in the last Q&A. There is a story behind this sign here. So I'm gonna say it again. Play a lot, play loads, as you Brits say. Have fun, and until next time, bye bye, fine folks, wherever in the world you are.